G'day folks. I've just wound up a nice little fishing session. I've only been here a couple of hours. I thought I'd come out and try and catch a trout with all the fresh rain and all the fresh water that's come from this recent rainfall. We haven't had a lot of rain. Up here in the hills where I am, maybe an inch and a half, the water's got a bit off colour, it's a bit dark, and the fish have become quite a bit active. In saying that, I didn't catch many, I only actually landed 2 and hooked a couple of others, but at least it's a sign that they are active, and over the next few days there should be a few trout ready to be caught. The video quality might not be really good, the edge of the frame might be blurry or whatnot. That's because I'm standing out in the rain. It hasn't stopped raining the whole time, and I'm using my waterproof compact camera. It's a Nikon Coolpix, hang on, what is it? Nikon Coolpix Shockproof Full HD, there you go. Anyhow, it's a Nikon Coolpix, only worth a couple $100, great little camera. I'll use it for my underwater footage. But anyway, today I've used it on the tripod instead of my SLRs just because of the rain, so the footage might be a little bit blurry in sections or a little bit wet, but you'll get the idea anyway. Hasn't stopped raining the whole time I've been here and I just love it. Sort of reminds me of Australia's greatest ever rock singer, Mark Hunter. If you go out in the rain, don't go out in the pouring rain. I've decided to come up here today and chase trout. I've been doing a lot of Murray cod fishing lately, down in the lower reaches of the Ovens and King River, and the Broken River. But just today I've decided to come up in the mountains. The weather's changed, there's a bit of fresh water, and now's the time to come up and chase a trout when the flows have increased and there's just a little bit of fresh water around. I'm starting off with a little bladed spinner, a rooster tail. I really like these rooster tails. The very first hole I fished, which is right behind me here, I had a follow. I saw the fish come out, turn around and quickly take off. He never even touched the lure, nor did he come back for a second attempt. That tells me that either somebody's just recently fished here and the fish is educated, or he's just not 100% sure that he wants to take that, so he's being cautious. Either way, he wasn't aggressive towards it and he didn't even try and eat it. That's an indication that this isn't going to be the right lure. I'll persevere with it for a few holes, and if that continues to happen, well then I'll put something a bit more natural on, like a little striped tiger nymph or a little metalhead soft plastic that I make, something a bit natural that they might see as a food source. That doesn't really mimic anything in particular, but for some reason the trout do like it, particularly this time of year, so perhaps it could mimic grasshoppers or something to an extent, I'm not sure. But I'll give it a bit of a go, I'll persevere for a few holes, and that's all I'll give it. If I see fish continue to follow it like that last one, I'm not going to stuff around, I'm not going to scratch my head and say, what's going on here? I'm going to take it off and I'm going to put on a small soft plastic. Let's see what happens in the next hole. I just had a nice trout hit me lure. I'm going to change to something more natural, maybe even a minnow. Here we go, a little wild bait minnow in brown trout pattern. Nothing, can't get much more natural than that. These fish are very, very shy at the moment. 2 fish in 2 holes. I saw them both once each and that's it. Could be a result of fishing pressure, or it could be the weather, the low barometric pressure, or it could be just the fact that they're trout and that's what trout do best. They're very unpredictable. Tomorrow they could hit every lure that's put in front of them, so they might be very selective. But I've got a natural looking minnow on, I'm going to try the next hole with it. I'll give that a run for a while. If that doesn't work, I'll go to a soft plastic. Bait would be okay if you've got grasshoppers or crickets, but we haven't had enough rain yet to warrant using worms. If we get a lot of rain and the creek comes up a few inches and gets off colour, then you might be able to drift a scrub worm, but for now I think it's lure or fly, or a natural bait that's in the area like a grasshopper or a cricket. You wouldn't read about it. Been fishing this creek for 30 years and probably even longer, and the last time I saw a redfin in here like that, like this far, was probably 25 years ago. I've come up here chasing a trout and a little wild bait minnow, I've caught a bloody redfin. Trout just hit my lure, but it failed to hook up. It is absolutely bucketing down at the moment. I don't care, I'm out, I'm not at work when I'm out fishing. I love this. I'm on my own. I could be at a party with 100 people and feel more alone than I do out here in the rain right now. I just love it, absolutely love it. The rain on the water can be quite an advantage for us trout anglers. It knocks out one of their main senses, and that's their vision. They can still see through the water and they can still see us. But with the surface of the water being broken up so much by the raindrops, as you can see, it just muffles us and helps us blend into the background a bit more. So fishing in the rain for trout, although quite uncomfortable, it can be quite advantageous when you're walking up a trout stream. Look at that. I've had to fish a few pools, but I finally caught a nice little brown trout. I'm going to put him straight back in. Trout don't respond very well to being held out of the water. A Murray cod or a yellow belly, you can hold him out for a few photos and it's normally not too bad. But the old trout don't like it, especially when the weather's hot. Today it's not so bad, it's only about 18 or 20 degrees where I am, it's raining quite heavy and quite steadily, everything's damp, that fish will be okay. In the summer when the sun's out, you want to get him out, get a photo, get him back in under 20 or 30 seconds, otherwise the fish will really struggle. That one's going to be okay. Now, let's just recap on what's happened so far. I've pulled up at this nice creek that I used to fish. First cast I made, or the first hole I fished, I had a fish come out and follow my bladed spinner, not hook up. Next hole with the bladed spinner, same thing, fish followed it, didn't hook up. So I changed over to the little minnow, the wild bait minnow, and brown trout pattern, hoping that something a bit more natural might help. The next hole I fished there was nothing. Then I fished another hole and I caught a little redfin, which was quite a surprise. The next hole after that I had a trout hit the lure and not hook up. The next hole after that there was another trout hit the lure and not hook up. So by going from the bladed spinner to the minnow, I've turned my follows into strikes, but not aggressive strikes. I was only going to give this lure another couple of pools, then I was going to go one step ahead, go one step further again by putting on a soft plastic, a really natural looking soft plastic. This minnow looks a lot more natural than that bladed spinner did. The soft plastic looks more natural again, and the only other option you've got after that, apart from live bait, is fly fishing, which is even more natural again. It all depends what they're feeding, it all depends how active they are. At the moment, you can't really see in this angle, the creek I'm fishing is getting darker and darker by the minute. It's getting quite a lot of fresh water in it. and that's triggering the fish to get quite active, and that's why I'm having so many strikes and so many follows. If I'd come up here 2 days ago, I think it would have been really slow. So the fish are getting active with this fresh water. It might only last a few days, who knows, depends how long the rain lasts. But the moral to the story is, if what you're doing isn't working, try something different. You might start off with a minnow. They mightn't like minnows for whatever reason. Go to a bladed spinner. You might find heaps of people are fish at that spot with minnows, and they've become quite educated and therefore don't like minnows. So if you go and put on a bladed spinner, which they haven't seen, they might be more inclined to hit it. There could be a hatch of grasshoppers, and the bladed spinners quite often can mimic those things that sit on the surface as they swim quite shallow, just under the surface, and a lot of them have tail feathers, like the rooster tail, which look like legs on a grasshopper. They might be feeding on grasshoppers, they might be more inclined to hit a spinner. Conditions like now, it's a bit of a general bite. That's just that's the conditions that have brought them on the bite, not a hatch of any particular insect. So in the general increase in activity, I just think whatever's the most natural will work the best. And if we get enough rain, if we get a lot more rain and that water gets a lot higher and even dirtier, a good old-fashioned bunch of scrub worms might even be the treat. At the moment, I think we haven't had quite enough rain to warrant using worms. Crickets and grasshoppers, definitely. A little minnow worked well for me. The little wild bait, I'll persevere with it. And I still reckon I might end up with a soft plastic later on, just because I love them. But we'll see. One small trout, one small redfin. What else is in store for the afternoon? It's raining and I'm fishing. And I could be sitting in front of a TV playing an Xbox or a Nintendo or something like that, but I'm not. I'm out here in the rain and I'm alive. This is living, as they say on the BCF ad. Or as Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam said back in about 1990. Oh, I'm still alive, yeah! No point fishing there. I think they're all spooked. I'm going downstream.